This is real race talk from Texas. It's the Revved Up Sports Show. Here's Bobby Chaffee and Rodney Rodriguez.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome into another Monday night edition of the Revved Up Sports Show live from Texas. Showtime Bobby Chaffee right here. The Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez. That's that man over there. Welcoming you out to a, let's see what we can say, was a fun weekend for us, making the vocal cords soothe and sing the crowd there at Texana Raceway Park.
It's a good time at the old Texana. What I love about that place is that you can kind of go there, and it's a hometown racetrack. Hometown. That's the best part to me. That's what I love about going there.
Yeah, great crowd on Saturday night. They definitely ended up having a really good crowd there. The Friday night crowd was a little I don't want to say disappointing, a little lackluster more than what I thought it would be for a Friday night show, but definitely the crowd Saturday night made up for it. The parking lot was packed, the grandstands were packed. There was a lot of energy in the building, so to speak. So that was a lot of fun there for both of us, really, to have a nice, good time down there with the fans and the racers. Yeah,
and I think with that, it was one of those things to where we talk all the time. I got to tell you, I was superly disappointed for Owen and Cord and everybody that put this thing together, because for 5K to win, to me, I would have loved to have seen.
Should have been double that many cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's the bad part right there. But, it is what it is. But everything worked out in the sense that the racing was good. And that tends to fix a lot of problems. And I'm just glad that part worked out. But, man, I don't know. I mean, where were the cars? Hey, but, I mean, let's quit being negative. How about the modifieds? The modifieds showed up, and that was the one thing when I saw the modifieds on the bill for Saturday, I'm like, why even put them on there? And I think the classiest thing of the whole weekend was, to me, when Owen went to the modified guys in the drivers' meeting on Saturday, and he's like, guys, I'm sorry. I apologize that I left you off of this. Imagine if they'd have been on the Friday bill.
Yeah.
It could have been pretty damn good, but it is what it is. I mean, you can only go based on experience, which...
Well, there wasn't but like 5 or 6 cars running every IMCA modified race there last season. So, I mean, a good car count for the big mods last season at Texana was 8.
Right. And that's a whole thing.
And now you get 3 times that many on Saturday night, which is great.
Right. And that's the whole thing. What he did with that show was he was planning on having a crap ton of factory stocks and limited modifieds and all that. It was a good pit. I mean, it was a good pit. I mean, no doubt about it. It's a long way to go. And I totally get that. But, man, modifieds, way to go. I mean, that's where if anybody, if I have, worries about modifieds or whatever, it was all answered this weekend because they freaking showed up.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. The modified race was great. Really good racing throughout. I thought the track held up really well for the amount of high horsepower cars that were there when you had a bunch of big mods and a bunch of late models. Late model race was really good there for the lead. Both nights the late model race was outstanding.
Yeah.
So it's good to see the late models flourishing there in Texas. Be interesting to see how the southern region goes. Those are going to be fun to watch at Cotton Bowl. The problem is you and I will both be at different racetracks when it comes time for that late model series to go to Cotton Bowl.
Well, they'll have it covered. It's not about us. They'll be totally fine. I mean, the race cars are the things. I mean, that'll all be in hand. Speaking of late models on the show tonight, 6:45 coming up here in about 10 minutes. We'll talk to Shane Hebert, who is the man that he won the Saturday race. Took home 2K. He won that winter season championship. We'll talk to Shane. We'll talk to Johnny Torres with a fantastic run on Saturday to win that 5K in the factory stocks. And then Seth Christensen, the surprise winner, as they call it, of the Alabama 200. So very locked and loaded program that we have here. A good diverse thing right here. Already getting messages about Houston. Look, guys, I don't work there. So from what I've been told, from everything that I've seen today, they are moving forward with the race. So if you had plans to go there and be a part of that, I saw that they put their little poster out today. I mean, go. I mean, go out there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've had folks asking me today about the purse. I don't know what it is. When did you get into this for money? It's kind of my question.
Yeah,
I mean, go out there.
No one get into it for the money.
They are planning to race, so that kind of seems to be the mode of that. But the stock car tour. I mean, you had a really good weekend of the IMC or of the Lone Star Stock Car Tour. You had the Saturday night race won by my man Paul White. He wins over there at Kennedale, and then everything kind of got pushed back. I mean, the schedule kind of got crazy, and Cody Smith wins on Saturday, and they're getting fired up and ready to go. You can catch it on Race on Texas. They're doing Devil's Bowl tonight and tomorrow. Then they go to Waco. I mean, that's pretty cool right there. I wish I didn't have a job. I wish I didn't have a job because my ass would be at Devil's Bowl tonight and tomorrow, and then just following this thing through because that's some cool stuff to see.
Yeah, it's always good to see the stock car tour. We hated it the year that it got iced out there in 2021 because it was set up. Races were a little closer to home, if you will, especially that race they're supposed to have there at Cotton Bowl. But they've picked some really good tracks. Obviously, Kennedale's been pretty racy. They've got their season off to a really good start up there in North Texas, and car counts are back like normal. And they've done a really good job getting the fans in there, getting the cars ready to go in there. It's nice to see they've expanded with Race on Texas up there. So not only do you get Boyd on Friday nights, you get Kennedale on Saturday. You see a lot of crossover there between the two tracks up north, and then obviously the rest of the races will be rest of our friends at the various racetracks, Rocket, Arklatex, and some of the other ones will be covered by Race on Texas. So.
Yep, and we're talking about a full weekend that's coming up right here, and this is where, to me, it kind of sucks, I mean, for Houston, because Houston, I mean, that's a market right there where we wish that it would explode and do whatever the hell it's supposed to do, but this weekend you've got the asphalt race there at H&P, but at the same time, I mean, folks you're going to have to pick because you've got the 305 sprints at 105, and that's where and that's to me where you look at that and it's like, okay, that's Houston. I mean, you should be used to that, but at this point, Houston doesn't have a whole lot, and that's going to be tough, and that kind of sucks because the fans are going to have to figure out where the hell they want to go, and I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, that's scheduling. I mean,
there's only so many dates around.
Yeah. That's the deal right there. And seriously, I mean, I've gotten a lot of calls about the Houston asphalt thing, and I don't know.
We only know. We only know what y'all know.
Yeah. And there's a lot of hearsay and whatever the case is, but. I hate to say go to the racetrack and show up and there's going to be a race. I mean, I can guarantee that because there's some folks that are handling that they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they're going to get you a race. That's the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, the schedule's out. It came out today, already getting shared by a bunch of racers, so that becomes a good thing where they're able to we talk about buying in all the time. You got to buy into the program, got to buy into what's happening, and it looks like a lot of the racers have. This is what the racers in Houston wanted, more than 2 races in a year, and they got it. And so now's the time to basically put up or shut up. You've had a hell of a long time to get these cars ready to go, maybe except for some of the bootleggers. But, I mean, there should be a hell of a lot of cars because they've had a long time to get this deal ready. That schedule's been out for a long time. Everybody's had this date circled on those calendars for a long time. Key word in there is a long time, right? Everybody's had a chance to get their stuff together, so now's your chance to show it. They're coming up this weekend in Houston.
That's it. I mean, if you want to have a lot of races, I mean, I think the main thing is, show up in the grandstands. I think that's a big thing. Race on Texas, our partner, they're going all out for this thing. And folks that can't get to H&P, I mean, they're gonna check in right there, and it's one of the things that we talked about with Owen this past weekend, because obviously Owen was disappointed in the car count, which I was too.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing was that with what was there, they really produced a great show. And I think that's a whole thing to really, that's going to factor in here with Houston. I mean, I have no idea who's going to race on pavement. There's lots of options. There's lots of places to go out and race. I don't know who's going to travel. I don't know who plans to race trucks and modifieds and do all of this stuff. But the one thing that I can tell you is I know that in the past there in Houston, it's been very heavy on the eco stocks. It's been very heavy on the modifieds and all of that. And that's what I hope that happens, this weekend in Houston. I don't, It doesn't need to be a matter of, Gina versus Dean versus John Alverson versus whoever the hell. I mean, just go. I mean, and don't bitch about it. I mean, it's you're getting a race. I think that's the main thing that you need to factor in.
I think because just the races are there, right? Just be grateful for the races you got. Like we said, there's plenty of races. Just because it's a little far away doesn't go for it. Car count's going to suck. I mean, especially this weekend, disappointing car count. The guys, it just blows my mind. And we had this conversation on Friday and Saturday night about the car count. It just seems that guys would rather stay at home and race for $300 to win and a little bitty trophy than $5,000 to win and a great big ass trophy. So, really surprising that there wasn't more not local guys, but I mean, local with the South and Central Texas contingent trying to go for that. I mean, when you go up to like Boot Hill and all that, there's 75 factory stocks trying to time in for 24 spots.
That's really what I don't get about the whole factory stock thing here with this past weekend is, you've got a lot of folks up in the San Antonio area. I know we got a lot of folks at Cotton Bowl. Yeah, I mean, I know you.
Where the hell were you? Yeah,
I know you have your hometown track, and you talk about how much you love racing, and we want to grow this thing, and we want to blow this thing up. It's okay every now and then to get out of that comfort zone. I was actually in a business meeting today, and they were talking about get out of your skin. Take your shirt off and peel your skin back and go do something different. And the one thing that I kept hearing, over the weekend from some people, I don't want to tear my shit up at the beginning of the year. Nothing got tore up. You've got 2 to 3 weeks at your hometown racetrack before you get on the track. And I've seen all of you, you go out there at your hometown track and you rip your stuff up and you're there the next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I totally get the hometown loyalty. I get all of that, but it's okay. I mean, if you are really into racing, if you are really that much of a racer and you really want to grow the sport, like I see at every track, I'm all about my sport. I'm really all about making my sport better. Go try something different every now and then. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Especially at a place like Edna, which is very forgiving. You don't see a lot of stuff torn up at Edna because it's fast, yet it's not dangerously fast.
But Bobby, especially when they put the track together like they did this past weekend. That thing was great. I mean, I got to tell you, I talked to Bo Begno on Saturday for a Race on Texas interview, and he said it was a little dusty at the end of the night. And that was after all of them damn heat races and all that stuff. It's okay. Go try something.
Yeah.
If you
$5,000
really
to win and 24 cars showed up. That's pretty bad. That's not looking good for a track that really wants to try to produce great racing and try to produce family friendly shows and budget shows for racers. That's not the track's fault if they keep putting up money. Nobody wants to show up. There's no sense in putting up the money.
Well, I guarantee you one damn thing. I mean, I wouldn't do it again. I mean, I'm not going to put that money up again. And those guys, and that's the funny thing about it, talking to Cord and Owen after the races, the good thing was the front gate that we talk about was really good. I mean, you had a lot of people there on Saturday night, and the racing fixed a lot of the from the naked eye. The racing was good, but when it all comes down to the car count, it just wasn't there, and that continues to amaze me why people didn't show up for that.
I mean, you had guys. Literally, I talked to a guy, Mark Underwood Jr. from Ruston, Louisiana, 7.5 hours away. Ruston is about an hour or so the other side of Shreveport. His dad is from West Monroe, Louisiana, which is another 30 minutes past the Ruston. They drove because it was a $5,000 to win race. They couldn't believe that only 24 cars showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know a lot of, Rocket had a great weekend, and I know that there were posts there about Rocket, with everything that they were doing. I know that there were posts there. USMTS was the big deal there. With that big win there for Tom Berry Jr. I mean, they packed that place up, and Owen was a little disappointed, with the fact, because I think there was a post somewhere that said, "Hey, factory stocks. I mean, what a great crowd." They only had 25 there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's part of the problem. I mean, and that's a good problem to have, is that there are tracks way up there and way down here, and there's enough to shake it all through. So, I don't know, but I don't know. I just wish.
I mean, the only two guys that would have gone up to Rocket would probably been Faulkner and Whitehead.
Right, but
they were down south, representing hundreds of miles away from the house, trying to show up with the best of the best.
That's right, and that's a whole thing for me with the factory crowd down south, is that there were, man, I can count them. There were 25 more cars that could have gone, but they chose not to. 5K is a lot of money. 5K is a lot of money, and that's where we go back to, well, Faulkner's there, and, Justin Whitehead's there. Well, neither one of those son of a guns won the race.
One thing, and it's not just the 5,000 win. That was a pretty damn nice purse all the way down to start.
It's a great purse. It was a great purse. By the way, the guy that won that race is coming up at 710. But I don't know, that was disappointing to me, to see that. I mean, they didn't come. They didn't come, and you had a lot of guys that put their asses on the line for it, and I feel they lost out. I feel that Texana lost out on that.
Yeah.
Even though it was a great show, great racing, I feel they lost out.
Yeah, they did. I think so too. And that's not just because I announced there a lot. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity for racers to take advantage of a really, really good opportunity for a hell of a lot of money and a really good show.
Yep. So off of the soapbox, let's talk about a dude that did travel, and that's the whole thing. With the All-Star Crate Late Model Series, this is something to where, again, Owen, we're tooting Owen's horn right here, because he busts his ass and does a lot of things that he finds ways to make things happen. And this is a guy that came in and he ran the Winter Series. He locked it all up and did a great job there at Texana on Saturday night, not only winning the championship, but winning that main event out of Louisiana. My man, Shane Hebert. How you doing, sir?
Doing good.
Thank you for taking the time, my man. So talk about that. We can get into the dynamics there about the racing and all of that, but traveling and doing, getting on the road and doing this stuff, I think that's something that a lot of folks don't want to do, but you're the best example. You go chase these races.
Yeah, I've done it all my life, just traveling with USMTS and running the super late models, when we first started. And it's just, man, my closest track that I normally race at's 2.5 hours. So it's nothing for me on a Friday night to race in Manny. And it's 3 hours from the house. And Boot Hill's 3 hours, Chatham's 3 hours. So Beaumont, when it was running, it was 2.5 hours. So for us, it was traveling's just part of the beast.
Yes.
So Shane, what goes into that? Like, were you a points chaser? Are you a money chaser? I mean, does it just depend? I mean, is there certain racetracks you just want to go to, regardless of what it pays to win? I mean, how do you pick and choose your schedule?
I'm 100% payout. Actually, this series, which was only 6 races, which was perfect, kind of fell in our hands. We were going anyway, but it was actually the first series points that I've ever raced for since I've been racing. So I've won some track championships, but just by wasn't planning on it. Just ended up winning enough races to get it done. But that was, for me, my first time physically running and mentally in my head running and thinking, okay, we need to finish to win the championship also, and not just racing to win.
Yeah. So Shane, talk about that because going to this weekend, I know Friday night, you had, Kevin Sitton wins that race, and I was watching you because obviously you're the point leader. I was kind of watching what you were doing right there, but it really seemed like on Friday you were kind of putting yourself in a position to be ready for Saturday. The track was great, but what you pulled off this weekend, that was a work of art right there.
Yeah, Friday we kind of went back to basics with the car and tried a few things that I didn't end up not liking, but we had to try just to see if we can get a little better.
Yep.
But it kind of bit us a little bit. But I salvaged a second place finish, which is perfect. If I'd have maybe slowed down and got a little to the bottom a little sooner, maybe we could have had gave Sitton a little run for the money. But end result going in there was I needed to keep the 32 behind me. So that was the main purpose. And once we got that job done, it was pretty much just run to the checkered and then work on the car a little better for Saturday.
Yep.
So Shane, you talked about your first championship with this crate late model, the All-Star Crate Tour. Talk about your background a little bit. You mentioned some USMTS, some other super late model stuff. How did you get this far in your career? What all have you raced before this?
We started off racing modifieds for probably, I think I started racing in 98. So I've raced modifieds forever. Since we started, then we started building the Southern Sport Mods Limiteds in 05. So we did that for a while, traveled with the USMTS from 06 to 2013. Did that, probably raced 35 times a year with them. And also when they came down here, we would run both classes, run the limiteds with the modified. So that was really fun. Racing with those guys makes you, make your program so much better, your speed so much better, and just how hard you have to hustle a car for 30 laps around the track. There's no breathing when you run with those guys. So that helped me a lot in just knowing how to aggressively run a car under control.
Mm-hmm. So, Bear, let's talk about these late models. That's one thing, here in the state of Texas, there's been different variations of whatever late model series. But to me, this is kind of the different animal. We talk on pavement, the trucks are different. To me, these high-powered late models, to get out there and wheel these things around, you guys are laying that thing over on the right side, and it's got to be pretty damn cool to get out there and just wheel one of these things around, these bull rings, especially like Texana.
Yeah, this weekend was a perfect example, and the track was perfect. You can run low, you can run middle, you can run high, you can cut across the center of the track.
Yep.
So I feel that the fastest car won each night. Even Sitton was good on that bottom, and the top was still there, but he had a dominant car on the bottom. But just late models they're fun to drive, especially with the crates. They're kind of under horsepower for the tires that we run, but it makes it interesting because you got to really still drive it for all it's worth because somebody else will, and the tires that they got, these cars these days stick so good to the track. Yeah. It's all about just, even though it's a 604 crate, I've run open motors plenty of times too. And sometimes I don't think I could get my open motor to run as fast as some of these crates just because you can, once you get them wound up, you can pretty much hold them to the floor as long as you get it to steer in. So I know some people, the 604s it's just a crate, but the way the suspension is these days, they really haul the mail when you got them right.
Mm-hmm.
So Shane, let's talk about the race on Saturday. You won your heat race, which was great, and Bo won his. So you guys were starting 1-2 on the front row. Bo got the jump, and you just kind of hung in there for a little bit, kind of picked your line here and there, figuring out where you want to go. For the mental aspect of it, was the points on your mind the whole time, or is that more about just wanting to win that race, knowing that if you win it, you took care of everything you need to take care of?
Yeah, going in for Saturday, I knew I had, I think, a 3 or 4 point cushion. So I think the points worked out as a position was per point. So I knew we had a little cushion. We just really had to finish the race was the main goal. And I figured on the start he would get the jump with the top being a little quicker earlier in the night. And then once he got the jump, I followed him a little bit, pressured him a little bit, and then tried a few different lines that would work and what didn't work, and then caught back up to him. I knew we had a good car. Slipped up a few times trying a different line, and and within 2 or 3 laps, I kind of sucked back up on them. So I knew the car was good. And actually, I like that board over there going in turn 1 because you can count the lap.
That's right.
So you kind of know what's going on, the flow of the race, how everything's going. You know, green flag was going good. I was conserving my tires, not trying to spin the tires, keep the car straight off the corner. And I was good behind them. So I just didn't want to show anything too early. I didn't want to get stuck out leading too early and then kind of, if the track changed, not know where the race on the track. So we caught up to some lap cars, and I kind of dove bombed the bottom a few times, and it stuck really good. So I knew once we caught up to the lap cars, that was going to be my first move. And it took me about a lap or so, got even with them, and then the next corner ended up getting a really good drive, I think, off the back straightaway and finished the pass in 3 and 4.
Yeah. And
it was really good. I mean, once we got out front, I could run it really hard. And then I think that late race caution came out, which ended up taking Bo out. But I didn't really know after that restart to either run the bottom or the top. The car was really good all the way around the track, but then I heard one of the Storms boys, and I think it ended up being Rhett, or maybe Robbie.
Yeah.
That was challenging me, with about 5 to go, and I figured I had to move up to kind of protect that line and finish it off.
Yeah. So talk about that, Shane. You mentioned there, the Starnes and with Bo. With everything happening right here, that was a field of 13 cars, but that was 13 really good race cars. And with everything with this series, I think that, this is something that there's a lot to build on right here.
Yeah, definitely got a decent field of cars. I mean, I thought they could have had a few more. I was thinking 18 to 20. Mm-hmm. But no, the field's good. The payout's excellent. I think the series is definitely going to take off converging with the other deal. So Northern cars will come in, and I think once this series kicks off, you'll get 20, 25 cars a night, and they'll run for some, hopefully if that stays consistent, they'll either pay a little more on the backside to start or end up, paying a little more at the top. And I think it's a really good deal. Crates are fairly inexpensive motors to run. They run pretty good. You can pretty much lap them out after 30, 40 races, change them out. They're not too crazy. So in the aspect of everything, the money to the money you're spending, it's probably the best economical late model you're ever going to race for the money that we're getting in return.
Yep.
So talk about the competitors you have, the Starnes. I love the blue and the white cars. Your car was blue and white. It was super fast. The Starnes cars, the 7 and the 25, those were blue and white cars, and they look really fast. Is it the combination of just everybody being that close with the competition, making that race that exciting, or was it really just that it was just organic that it was just that good and exciting?
Well, anytime you get a track that you can run all over it like that, it's gonna improve the racing. So obviously they have good cars. They stay on top of their equipment, so their stuff is top notch. So I knew any one of those cars get out front, they're really tough to pass. And the late model is really tough to pass. They're wide. You can make them wide if you want, and make it really interesting to kind of get around somebody, especially with a 604. If you choke it down a little bit, it kind of takes you a lap or two to kind of get your momentum going. But as good as the track was, you can, like I said, you can run that top, cut across the middle of the track, run straight on the bottom. It was going to take a really good car, as good as my car was, to kind of, drive away from me. So I felt confident throughout pretty much after lap 5 going in. I knew the car was really good. I could steer where I wanted to. And, but you just don't want to take a chance on letting somebody just get, slip by you, because you just don't know when that opportunity come back around to either them make a mistake or just have to hustle around to get back by them.
Yep, no doubt. So, Shane, I do want to ask you, lastly, we've got a lot of folks that are mentioning there, you guys with the late models getting a race at Cotton Bowl Speedway. I'm hoping that you're going to make the trek there to Page. That's a big old, slick, wide, 3/8 mile racetrack right there. Your thoughts on those late models on that big old monster?
Yeah, we ran last year at the beginning of the year. We ended up racing the open motor over there. But, it's a big, fast, slick. Crates would probably be interesting over there because you could probably, I would think you could almost hold it wide open over there, and just if you get it to cut through the center, you should be pretty good. But it's a fast track. I know we ended up running, I think, towards the on the infield a little bit because it kind of got a little slick. But
yeah,
I'd imagine it's going to get really good, and they'll prep it a little different where it can have multiple grooves and it should be good. We haven't really made a schedule out yet to see what's going on, but it's definitely on the list.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing, man. We hope that you're able to make that one, because I think that's going to be a really, really, really fun racetrack right there when those late models head that way. Shane, way to go, my man. Congratulations on winning the championship and winning that race there in grand fashion on Saturday night. Really cool to see you out there at Texana. It was really cool, man.
Yeah, really fun, and I hope Owen, I don't think he's going to get discouraged too much. He's a good guy, so he'll do it again just to spite people, maybe, just to make sure. I wouldn't doubt it, just we're going to do it again,
Yep.
So I'll support him every way I can, and as long as they keep paying, I'm going to keep coming.
There it is.
There it is.
That's the main thing right there. Congratulations, dude, and hope to see you soon, my man.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
You bet. Take care. There you go, Shane Hebert. That is your winner in the All-Star Crate Late Model Series as he came out. And it really was on Saturday. Watching him, I'm like, oh, maybe he's a little bit off. But it really was, when you go back and you watch it, Bobby, he really was just kind of setting everything up for Saturday. Because Saturday, man, that thing was dialed in. He kind of sat there. And that's, to me, where as a racer myself, sitting there watching that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pass Bo Begno. I'm going to try to pass him.
Mm-hmm.
But like he was talking about right there, just cool the jets. It's a 20-lap race, and he methodically just took care of business.
The crazy part of that interview is about, he said that's his first championship. Other than a couple of, track championships he's got, but his first kind of touring series championship. That's crazy. As long as he's been racing, I didn't realize that was going to be his first one.
Yeah, no.
And that was both races were hell of a damn entertaining races. I mean,
well,
I don't know what the track was almost perfect for the late
both
models.
nights.
Both nights. Perfect.
Both nights. And that's the one thing that I was talking to Owen about. We're sitting here bitching about, car count and everything. And great. I mean, I do want to mention, I don't think I said this, IMCA Modifieds, you saved the day. 24 of those bad boys, that was great. But the one thing that I kept telling Owen on Saturday night was, I know that you didn't get the car count you wanted, but the racing was great. But, of course, I totally get. The racing is great for the fans, but that was a lot of money. That's a lot of money that they shelled out for this thing, and but the racing was great. It delivered on Race on Texas. The fans that were there, they jammed the place on Saturday night. The hometown, they need to call that the hometown racetrack, because that's what that is. That all was great, but late models, modified. Even the hobby stocks. To have 10 hobby stocks, I think that was really great for the reincarnation.
Had 105 not been running, I think you'd have got double.
I know, and that's
for sport mods and everything.
Yeah, that's part of the thing right there. It's just a lot. It's a lot of competition. It's a lot of people that are trying to cram and figure out a place to race, and I do get it. I get people that message me and they're like, quit railing on low car counts. You don't know what it's like to travel. Yes, I do. I don't have a racetrack near me.
Yeah.
It's like 50 miles if I'm going to Cotton Bowl is the best one for me. If I'm going to go to Mobile, if I'm going to go to Pensacola, if I'm going to Georgia, I'm going to spend $800 in airfare. And I guarantee you, and no offense to anybody, I'm not recouping that. So I totally get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the joy of what we do. But I do think with this late model series, off my soapbox once again, with the late model series, I think that they're in a place to where he's about to blow this thing out of the water. I think
the fact that they're tied in with the Northern Series now, there's enough racetracks to do a Northern and a Southern.
Yep.
What makes it great? Cotton Bowl's right in the middle.
I know.
And that's those late models from Friday and Saturday night at Cotton Bowl. With a good track, with apparently they got new dirt now at Cotton Bowl, some extra dirt, something that's going to be a hell of a race to see. That's
what scares me, to see those cars on that track. That's the one where you need to go out there and pack that place for everyone that has their heart broken and crying about no World of Outlaws. That's okay. That's okay. You're going to have a bunch of guys from the state of Texas that are about to go to Cotton Bowl Speedway and race late models. I know it's not the same thing. I know it's not Casey Kane and all these different people, but I really think that this is going to be a destination race, and this is where you're going to see late models from up north and each direction come show up, and they want to be a part of that. They want to be a part of that racetrack. That's going to be some kick-ass racing. That may be some of the best racing we're going to see all year. And I'm calling that right now on, what is it, March 6th. We're way early.
Yeah, way early call it. But now, speaking of not holding on to money, I will give the track credit. Full payout for the whole purse there at Texana. The car count might not have been there, but the purse was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And there's a call right there. Thank you. Call it the home track. I mean, with Texana, that really is the home track. And I had a friend that messaged me, and they were like, "Why do you call it Flag City, USA?" Well, for one thing, there's
a big ass sign when you come into town.
There's a big
Flag
sign.
City, USA.
But I sent a friend of mine. I went on Saturday. I went to the old Pinto Bean and loaded up on that Mexican food that I posted on my Facebook page. But I actually walked down that town square where there's all the flags and everything, and that's great. I mean, that really is. It's got that home, and I think that's where, Cotton Bowl can have that same effect as well, to where it can kind of be a hometown racetrack to what we want to have. But I love Texana Raceway Park. It reminds me so much of Speedorama back in my days. I mean, that's really what that thing reminds me of. From the old school bathrooms.
Yeah.
The whole thing is I had
old school tower.
Old school tower. I had some folks that came to me, and I was talking to some folks in the know, and they were like, if this place had newer bathrooms and a tower, I'm not talking about you. I know that you and I talk about this.
Yeah.
There were some people that mentioned that. It was like, if it had those two things, this place would be massive. I'm like, why don't you call Cord Beard? Because obviously he
cares about that place a lot. They spent a lot of money on there so far.
Those fucking grandstands in turn 1 and turn 4.
Those are nice. Those are nice grandstands of any race.
No offense to HMP. If people say HMP is the state of the art and all this shit, those make the HMP ones look
old,
kind of ghetto.
Yeah.
To me, Heart of Texas is the one. And this is, like with Cotton Bowl, it all comes back to the frame of the grandstands and all that. And that's where every time that the San Antonio thing comes up, it's going to reopen again and all this. I'm like, well, the grandstand frame is there because that ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, they just come in and steal all the wood when they're
that thing is sunk in. But like with Cotton Bowl, with their grandstands, imagine Cotton Bowl with those aluminum grandstands at Texana. Holy shit!
Ooh,
World of Outlaws would show up then.
Yeah, the late model date at Cotton Bowl is April the 1st.
Oh, man, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on April the 1st.
There's a lot going on that day.
I think we're both preoccupied that day to be able to watch that race. But the good news is I think our friends at Race on Texas will be there broadcasting it, so we'll get a chance to watch it again.
Well, the whole thing is, people are going to travel, and I think what this weekend hopefully did for the All-Star Crate Late Model Series is that they locked in, they honed in, and they saw the whole thing was it was a pack of it was like Talladega and Daytona. It was a pack of 13, 14 cars, whatever it was. They were all racing, and that's I really think that this is a year. To me, on the dirt track side, obviously you've got, with the stock car tour, with the IMCA stock cars and factory stocks, you've got all of that. That's all in place. Sport mods. I think this is a year to where, with the traveling tours that I see with the late models and with the trucks, I think that this is a year to where if people will latch on there and give them some love and follow them and let them make mistakes and don't quit bitching at them, I think this is where those two series, the late models and the trucks, this is where you go get it. Go get it. I mean, promoters that we know Owen's going to get it. I mean, I know Mike Tracy and those guys are going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Go do some shit. This is your year right here because you got the dates, you got the places, and you've got things that are different. There's lots of stock cars. There's modifieds and all of that. You've got the different things, and I think this is where you can do some cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. This is the year. Obviously, the Truck Series has kicked it up a notch. I'm expecting good things from the truck tour.
I think so too.
Coming up in 2023. Obviously, the late models, the Winter Series delivered everything it wanted to, and it's merging into a bigger series.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing but an upward trajectory that's going to be damn good.
Yep. By the way, I'm available to drive a truck if needed. Before we get to Johnny Torres, I do want to tell you, you guys about Rogers Dab Chevrolet. We were talking right there about those 604 crate engines, $7,460. Best price in town is going to be my friends over there in Brandon, Mississippi. The 602s are $5,497. It is the best price. It is the best price on all your GM performance parts. They are looking to sell motors to support racing. I'm here to help them sell motors because they're going to put that money back into racing. It doesn't matter if it's asphalt or dirt. Check them out. It is a really cool thing. Hit that parts number, 1-800-489-2050, and they'll hook you up. They will hook you up and get you that GM performance engine that, back in the old days, I hate the crates. I'll be damned. Seems to be
it ain't what the crate motor hate ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, it ain't and
the crate motors themselves ain't what they used to be when they first started.
That's right. Don't be going out there pulling those seals off because we got good tech people in place that are able to figure that stuff out at all of the racetracks. So really cool stuff. All right, going to the hotline, the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline once again. Anybody in Texas or along the coast here that needs a loan, you got to call this guy. My man has $5,000 in his pocket after a big win on Saturday night at Texana Raceway Park. He had him dazzled. He had Bobby over here screaming like he never has before. It is the winner of the factory stock, the Monty Chamberlain Motorsports factory stock main event there at Texana Raceway Park. My man, Johnny Torres, the new millionaire. JT, how you doing, buddy?
How are y'all doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great now that I'm talking to y'all.
Hey, before we get into Texana, tell me more about this other Southern Oklahoma deal, because everybody kept saying congratulations in Edna, but they were talking about whatever happened in Oklahoma. What's the story with all of that? What happened in Oklahoma?
Well, so last weekend or the weekend prior, I raced in Southern Oklahoma. Alan Alexander hauled my car down there, and me and Justin Whitehead had a pretty good battle. I led. It was about the exact opposite. I led the first half of the race. He got by me. It was a 30-lap race. He ended up winning the race, and it was just a good race. I ran second. He won, and after the race, there was a little scuffle. Not really a scuffle. Just a guy came over, and not between me and somebody came over to Justin while I was talking to Justin about the race, and threatened to have a few beers with him, and so I kind of he has a little a TV show that's following him. And I don't want to say a TV show, like a YouTube channel, I guess you could say. And so I knew the cameraman was right there, so I was giving the cameraman thumbs up and all sorts of signals in the middle of this. I didn't think there was going to be no fight, so I didn't, So it kind of made some memes, and it kind of it was just kind of a big joke. I like to play around.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Johnny, I do want to ask you, and I mean, what a great win for you there on Saturday night there at Texana. But we've been debating back and forth throughout the night. I mean, that $5,000. I mean, 24 cars is great, but I mean, I was thinking there was going to be more. I mean, what were your thoughts? As you watched the pits, throughout the weekend.
I'm glad y'all brought that up because I was really disappointed in all of the South Texas racers.
Yep.
This whole Southern Texas racers. I mean, it's March. We should be ready by now, right? I mean, I know we raced in early December, but these guys put a lot of money on the line to put a big show up for us, and a lot of racers ask for big shows and say they're going to all these big shows. And then when the time comes, they don't show up. I know people things are going on. There's baseball. There's activities, but I mean, racers usually find their way to the racetrack, and people like Cord and Owen put up money. And it really sucks that we didn't have more cars show up. I actually, on my way to the races, I figured there'd be at least 50 cars there in the factory stocks because y'all see, I mean,
oh yeah,
we have a B main and sometimes in a regular night, and they're paying $5,000 to win and they don't show up. I mean, I just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because the next time I don't think Corey's going to want to pay $5,000 to win because he's going to be. I guarantee you he lost his ass on that deal.
Yep.
So why would he want to do it again? And it's our own fault. It's the racer's fault. So I think it sucked. I saw a lot of questions about the rules and payout and the format on Facebook, and really the people that ask the questions never show up. I don't understand.
Yes, sir.
That's usually the way it works. But see, I'm glad that you got to be the experience with the promoter. And obviously, your dad was a promoter forever, so you know more about the ins and outs of the promoting side of it. But I think that every good racer needs to spend the night shadowing the promoter or a week shadowing the promoter so that they get to see the plight of a promoter. I'm like you. Cord and Owen put everything they had into the show. Cord, you're like I said, the only saving grace for Texana for that deal was definitely the front gate. Because there was a boatload of people there, which were all jumping up and down when you took the lead, by the way. But I'm so gun shy now because I'm like you. That fall clash, the season-ending clash in November, man, I don't even know if they're going to try to put the funds up for that like they put up for this one to have nobody show up.
Yeah, I would be skeptical for sure, and you can't blame them. They take the chance, and they've had a lot of good shows, so I don't understand why that happened. As far as the cheering, it's hard to judge because at I-37 I won a few races into the year and I was surprised they got booed, and I always thought it was kind of a little bit of a favorite, and I got booed at I-37 home track, and I thought, man, what's up with that? Wow. So I was glad to have some cheers at Edna.
Yeah, dude, they were fired up, dude. When you took that lead, it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, it was. You can go back and watch that on Race on Texas. You make that pass, and there's people, arms in the air and all this stuff. And I do want to talk about that, Johnny, because to me, let's go to that race. The most impressive thing that I saw. I mean, obviously you winning the race, but you get in there, you have to muscle your way in there just a little bit. We're running it live right now. Whitehead was going to be that's Faulkner. Whitehead was at the bottom of the racetrack. He was hugging the bottom. You went in there and you kind of, just good racing, but you stole his line. Once you got ahead of him, he wasn't going to pass you because he couldn't work on the outside. Walk us through that whole pass to win that race.
Well, I'll kind of walk you through a little bit from the beginning of the race. It was, all right. I watched the race, obviously. I rewatched it. And
a few times.
And so, I feel like the first 20 laps is just the way I explained it. I was racing two features.
Yep.
I raced the first 20 to survive because I thought it was going to be a lot more of a demo derby than it was. It was actually a lot of clean racing.
Mm-hmm.
And but if I figured I could survive and stay in the top 5 of the first 20, then I had another 20-lap race to get after it and get where I needed to go. I felt like my car was really good from the start. I just knew just take my time. I didn't really want to battle with anybody. Cody Leonard showed me the nose early. I feel like I kind of just let him go. Faulkner was on the outside. We raced a little bit, but he was all the way on the outside. I wasn't really concerned about, us running into each other or anything. Which all those drivers up front, it seems like when you get up front there, you don't have to worry too much about wrecking because they're all smart racers.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost forgot your question. So
that's okay.
But at the end of the race, I didn't think Whitehead would mess up at all. I was really surprised. He's the king of factory stocks.
Yep.
And then he got Faulkner on the outside, who I thought, if anything, Faulkner's going to have a run on the outside, and he's going to get by Whitehead.
Yep.
And I'm going to be stuck running third. I thought I had a second-place car. Whitehead seemed to fade a little bit. I knew I had a little bit more to go.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of just barely opened the door that one, that going into that turn, into turn 3, and I took advantage of it. And my car was really good, but their cars are good too. So I knew I was fast, but I just didn't think Whitehead was going to open the door because I mean, he's a great racer. We all know that. He's probably the best at factory stock racing there is. So, but it made it that much sweeter beating somebody like him. And I even told him last week in Oklahoma, I was like, well, I'm getting closer. I'm trying to take a stab at it, and you're the one I want to beat. It's not, it's because I respect him so much, and I respect Faulkner.
Sure.
And so it made it even better being that they ran second and third, because they are the two best factory stock racers there are.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been doing this very long, the factory stock stuff, but I feel like I'm getting better and better every time I race that car and I learn a little bit more. So, but I also always said that Faulkner's great, but Whitehead is the greatest 50-lap factory stock racer. This one was 40, but a lot of those 10,000 wins, 5,000 wins in the Arklatex area are 50 laps.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow he just seems to outlast everybody and is always really fast into those races. And I've watched a lot of them. I've raced a lot of limited 50-lap races and kind of just drove the same way, just know I need to save my stuff, be close enough at the end, but know not to be burned up, at the end of the race either. And I felt like I had plenty left. I felt pretty comfortable in the car. I first time in a long time I got nervous, though. I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I bet.
Especially driving a factory stock, 'cause they're pretty slow cars, don't get too nervous. And I was like, man, this is $5,000. I got a chance at winning here, So, but I definitely was taking care of equipment. And at the end of the race, I knew if there was an opportunity that came up, I wouldn't move them out of the way, but I would definitely take advantage of it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you did. I mean, there was a little bump, but not a lot. I think he returned the shot on you a little harder than what you gave him for Whitehead. But talk about Whitehead, man. He wins a lot, and he's got a lot of fans, and he's but everybody that talks about him actually has somewhat good things to say about him. Talk about your relationship with Justin Whitehead.
I've known him for a while now, but actually somehow, maybe through Stevie Whitaker, I always end up to see it. I'm always at Best Engines picking up motors for other people, for a bunch of people in South Texas, and so I talk to him quite a bit at Best. Whenever I see him at the racetrack, I talk to him a lot, and I really respect him. So I enjoy the conversation and kind of just pitching ideas here and there, not about how to make our cars faster, but just our outlook on racing. And, because he's been to a lot of races, obviously. And he's a great guy, but normally, everybody hates a winner, but everybody seems to love him. There's nothing to dislike about him. I mean, he's a nice guy. He helps his customers out a bunch. They build a great car, and he's got a lot of customers between Best Engines and Outlaw Race Cars. I mean, he's got his hands in probably at least half of the factory stocks racers out there, and he helps them. I mean, him and Chuck definitely have it going on with the factory stock stuff, and I really respect him. So that's why I told him, I was like, one day I'm going to get there. I want to, this factory stock deal. You're the one I want to outrun, which is because I respect him so much.
Yeah. And Johnny, isn't the thing right there, Owen and I were talking after the races. I think the thing is with Justin and with Faulkner, they are what they are. They are so good at what they do, but they are clean racers, man. I know Justin had a couple of times there where he could have taken you out. I mean, he could have taken the low road, and Faulkner at the same time, he could have cut down on top of you. But man, they're good at what they do. But man, they're class acts on the racetrack.
Oh yeah, well, I feel like Justin and Faulkner have both raced against each other for the win a lot. They know. I mean, they're both in contention to make a lot of money with the factory stock class, and they know if they start wrecking each other, that's just going to hurt both of them.
Yep.
So they got a lot of respect for each other. They park next to each other a lot of times when they go out of town. And I feel like they kind of, I was there last weekend with Justin. I feel like they kind of know if I'm there, I'm going to be towards that area also. And, there's a mutual respect to where we kind of know if we're beating and banging off each other, that gives a chance for somebody else to win.
That's right.
Let's see who's got the faster car, and let's race it out. And he knows, Justin knows, we raced side by side in Southern Oklahoma for probably 10 laps, and we never touched. And he knows that if the roles were reversed, I'm not going to move him out of the way. It's
That's
just
right.
who's going to be the faster car on that day.
Mm-hmm.
So Johnny, now that you got the big check, got the cash in there, what's on tap for the rest of 2023? You going to pick and choose? You going to only do big money shows now that you got the big money trophy with you, or what?
High roller.
That's right, high roller. What's your plans for 2023?
I actually I had a plan at the beginning of the year, so I haven't been. Last year I didn't have a race car at the beginning of the year because I was promoting and just it wasn't that important. So the year before that I was also promoting and didn't have a race car at the beginning of the year. So this year I'm ready to go at the beginning of the year, and my plan is, or was and is still, is to race every single local race I can race. I plan on being at Cotton Bowl a lot. I'll be at I-37 every race, and try just to be the factory stock to beat around here. Win as many local races as I can. I feel like with the limited, Stevie would always come kick my ass, but other than that, like I was the guy to beat at I-37, and I'd like to be the guy to beat at I-37 the factory stock class. I feel like I'm pretty close. Of course, Jared Bobbin's going to be tough. There's plenty of other young racers that building new cars or just making their cars better, and they're going to be tough to beat. But I feel like I got a chance to win quite a bit of races.
Yeah, I think so too. So I do want to ask you, Johnny, put that promoter hat back on. Talking about everything with Owen and Cord right there. The track prep, I talked about it all weekend on Race on Texas, man. These guys gave you guys a really good racetrack. Talk about that, man. That was really cool to see.
Oh, it was a great racetrack, and it's a lot tougher than people think. People will talk about, I want it dry, I want it tacky. Of course, it's got to be smooth, or everyone's going to complain. It's a lot tougher than people think. Weather, humidity. I mean, so many things play into it, and that they don't realize. And to prep a track for a lot of racing and multi days and a bunch of cars, it's tough. I mean, and they had a great racetrack. The facility was great. Everything was really nice. They were ready for a bunch of cars, take care of a bunch of cars, and the cars just didn't show up. But they definitely did their part.
Yep.
I can't give all the answers for promoter because I feel like I'm a better race car driver than I was promoter. I gave it a try, and I feel like I failed. I'll chalk that one up as a fail, but I think I knew it was better for me to be a racer and let somebody else try, do a better job at it.
I don't think so, Johnny. Don't say that. I mean, because everybody always has the answer, and they've never put that hat on, and you did that, and for everybody always wants to bitch on social media and all of that. Try that. Try that. And you did that. And you did a hell of a job. I think
it's tougher people realize.
It's a hell of a
way
lot
more
harder.
tougher than people realize.
Way harder. But bottom line, man, $5K in your pocket, and can't wait to see you at the next one, dude. Congratulations, beating some of the best, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. It really means a lot. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into this. And sometimes you think, man, I'd rather just, hang out at the house and relax, but then races like this make it all worth it.
Absolutely.
Hey, one last thing before we cut you loose. Did Brandy get the money back from her brother?
She did, and I gave her brother a friendly text about just reminding him who won. I mean, I'm sure Whitehead will probably kick my ass next time, but I gotta soak it in this time. I chalk this one up as a win.
There it is. That's all that counts. That is all that counts. Good job, my man. We are so proud of you. And the whole thing is, and when I text you, in spectacular fashion, my man. That was so cool.
My voice has never been so high on a race call.
Yeah.
It really. Speaking of the spectacular, I don't want to keep y'all too long, but
that's all right.
I was really excited that so many fans and just friends and people, even people in the hot pit, were excited to see me win, and that really meant that might have meant more than the money itself. Just to see so many people get behind me and were excited for me, it really meant a lot. I kind of said that in my Facebook post, but
yeah.
It seemed like all of South Texas is kind of behind me, we all kind of argue, get here and there, and
Of
I'm not
course.
the biggest people person there is, and it seemed like, okay, well, this is our local guy that's got a shot, and he's trying to take down the Goliath. You know, I feel like I'm not normally the underdog, but I was definitely an underdog this weekend, and I feel like fans saw me as the underdog, and the underdog got the win.
Well,
And I was pretty excited about that, to see them happy.
and I got to tell you, Johnny, one of the cool things that I saw, on Sunday Sunday evening, I saw a post that where Whitehead posted, and he's like, "I got beat." Congratulations, Johnny Torres. I think that's really cool. I mean, you went out there and you did. I mean, you knocked off. We talk about Super Bowls and all this. You go out and beat the undefeated Patriots and all this stuff. That's what you did. I mean, you went out and you beat the best of the best, and that should be so gratifying for you.
Yeah, it was nice that it wasn't because of a wreck or because of a flat or a mechanical failure, and he'll admit he got beat just like he beat me in Southern Oklahoma. And I told him, I was like, we'll meet some other time of the year and we'll have to break the tie. But, he's going to get to work trying to make his car faster, and I'll be working all year trying to make mine faster. Me and Russell Vicker, I've been talking about what I think, what we both think we could do to get the car faster, just to where it was lacking, where it was good, and we can get better at that part, and just try to get better, just try to keep winning races.
Yep. Well done, my man. Look forward to the next one. Congratulations. Spend that $5,000 wisely, and let's see what happens next.
We can make an advertising plan that works for you on a budget that works for you too, dude.
That's right. Johnny Torres Motorsports right behind this thing right here. We can hook that up.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll keep that in mind.
All right, man. Take care. Congratulations. Say hello to Mama.
Thank you. I sure will.
You bet. Take care.
See you, Johnny.
I'll take care. Bye.
There he goes, Johnny Torres, and seriously, I think that really was the cool thing, because I did see that a lot after the race. It's like, okay, Johnny Torres is so good at what he does, but man, he came and he it was what is that, David and Goliath? I mean, he did. He threw that.
I think
stone.
I called him the Goliaths. I think I called him the Goliaths of factory stock racing there when he was going after it.
And I do want to, like I was talking about right there, I do want to give a lot of love to, because we see it all the time in racing when you get the guys, the big time guys that go out and race. And this is not discounting anybody that was at Texana this weekend in the factory stocks. But, I mean, I counted a bunch of times. I actually when I'm doing a race, I make little marks, like 1, 2, 3. I was making marks every time that Justin Whited could have taken him out, but he was not going to do that. And I go back to, you can go to raceontexas.com and all access and listen back to the broadcast. What was so impressive to me, like I mentioned to Johnny, was that he made the pass. He did. He had to nudge him, but he stole the line that Justin was running all night. That car was not going to run. I mean, it was good on the top side, but it was not going to be the best car on the top side. And Johnny made the pass, got on the bottom, and he cranked that son of a gun on the bottom. He's bottom feeding, and he was not going to let anybody by.
Yeah, and it looked like White had decided that Justin said that the bottom wasn't working, right? Despite the fact he was on the bottom all night long kicking everybody's ass, and it just opened up just enough for Johnny to come through and make the pass. And like I said, I hadn't been that high pitched on a call in a long time. Yeah,
no, it was a really good race, and that's a whole thing right there. And I do appreciate that Johnny was talking about right there. This is a guy that just won $5,000, and he's talking about how he wishes there would have been about 25 more cars there, because there should have been. And that's. Johnny, and that's a cool thing about South Texas Sweet Tea, is that he's been on so many sides of this now. And, for him to step away, and like I said, I mean, don't tell me that, Johnny, that you failed as a promoter. That right there, you had people that came and raced for you. And I think that's the biggest part of being in the promotional business, is you have to have people that want to come race for you, as we talk about, with the race coming up in Houston this weekend. And I know there's been a lot of talk about all of that, and the whole thing is, I mean, just go race for the racetrack. And that's where Johnny, people are going to follow him. And I think that we really saw that reciprocate into that race, because I went back and we were running the highlights right there. Like I was telling him, when he made that pass,
there were people excited. I mean, not just me, but
seriously, it was like Justin Whitehead is here racing that race, but Johnny Torres just blew around one of the most impressive factory stock drivers in the country, for crying out loud. And the people are going crazy. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
I mean, when you see people, you saw it when he made the pass. You saw the people jump up and down. You saw it when he crossed the finish line. You could see people jump up and down. Not just the people in the front row. There were people in the grandstands that were going bananas. There were people in their lawn chairs going bananas. So it's cool, man. We like to see good things happen to good people, and Johnny's one of those good people.
Yeah, and to see him win that. I mean, a lot of folks. Some guy messaged me and he's like, Johnny wins all the time. I'm like, not against that field.
Yeah,
not against that field.
Your top five your top five is a who's who of really good factory stock.
Absolutely, absolutely, it was, and that's what it's all about. But going to the Lone Star Speed Zone for the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline for the final time tonight. Talking about all these winners. It's Winners Monday, and this guy right here, probably the biggest win, shocking the nation with the win at the Alabama 200, sleeping with that bear. Oh my goodness, how cool was that? My man, Seth Christensen, how we doing, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Man, we're doing well. Welcome back in. Has it sunk in yet, my friend? Has it sunk in yet what you just pulled off?
A little bit now, I'd say. It's a very big accomplishment. So, still taking some time to let it sink in.
That's awesome.
So before we talk about how you got to where you are, I want to ask you about your Waffle House experience. It seems like ever since Trevor Lawrence decided to go to the Waffle House after winning a couple of playoffs, we've seen Ricky Stenhouse do it, and there was a video of you walking in with a big old bear to Waffle House. How'd that go? Did they give you any free waffles? Did they ask you about the bear? What was your experience at Waffle House like, man?
First of all, as soon as we got that trophy and we got in the truck, my dad was like, all right, we got to go to Waffle House right now. That's the ritual.
That's right.
And so we walked in, and of course everybody's giving me a huge look because, I mean, hey, I just walked into a Waffle House with a bear on a trophy. So that's pretty funny, but yeah, it was quite the experience.
Yeah. So, Seth, let's talk about this. I mean, the whole thing is winning that race, but I mean, I've followed you, watch you in the trucks and everything that you've done, but I think this was your second pro late model race, wasn't it? What a way to start that career.
Oh yeah, yes sir. It's been an awesome start so far. I ran at Speedfest and I ran at the Alabama 200, obviously, and we just had such an amazing car. I can't thank Turnco Motorsports and everybody that's worked on that car, Ricky, Will, anybody that's gotten their hands on that car to make it bad fast, and Freight Auctions, Brave Like Wyatt, and everybody that's helped me get to this level. Just to make it possible. So I just can't thank those guys enough. And yeah, we had an amazing weekend, to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt.
So Seth, let's talk about how you got here. Obviously that wasn't just your first racing start. Obviously, talk about how you got. Did you race go-karts, bandoleros, legends cars? How'd you get started in this business?
So I started when I was about 4.5 years old in quarter midgets. So I started testing, and when I was 5, I ran my first race.
I love it.
In USAC quarter midgets. And so how I met Kurt and how I got into the big car scene in the pro trucks was we went to Lanier Speedway for one of the INX Bandolero and Legends races, and Kurt happened to be there. And my dad and Kurt had already had a relationship leading to that, and I was able to drive one of Kurt's bandos at Lanier. So I ran a bando for him one race, and it kind of just clicked from there, running truck races left and right. And ultimately leading up to running a pro late model. So, yeah.
And let's dive into Kurt. I mean, Kurt has been, he's a friend of mine. I mean, he's a guy that, he has built so many great careers with you young drivers. I mean, he seems to be able to tap you guys out and ladies and just put you in really good spots. Talk about Kurt and everything that he contributes.
Oh yeah, Kurt's definitely been giving me a huge impact on just my racing career and racecraft. He's taught me a lot about just long run distances, being patient, not using up your stuff on lap one, first corner. Yeah, he's probably been one of the biggest people that has helped me throughout my entire career. Yeah, Kurt's just been an amazing influence on me, giving me just amazing racecraft and all the above.
So Seth, what's it like racing for Ricky Turner? I mean, he's got his fingerprint on Chase Elliott, Jake Garcia. Now obviously looks like he's got it on you too. What's it? I mean, he seems like a low key guy. What's he like in the shop? What's it like racing for that guy?
Well, I can say it's pretty fast racing for him. Definitely got some good cars. Very, very knowledgeable, a genius to say the least. He's always thinking ahead. He's always thinking about, all right, if I do this, what's going to happen? For example, if we take tires now, are we going to be good on the long run? Are there people that are going to be taking tires after us? He's that type of person that's always thinking ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So Seth, let's talk about that Alabama 200. It really was a thing there where you let that thing come to you. I mean, you let everything shake out. I mean, there was a lot of mayhem there, but you sat there, you waited, and found your time and made the move when it counted.
That's right. So qualified fourth, we redrew third. Right away, I was thinking, all right, we just got to ride. We're in position. We're starting good inside row. We're going to have good tires. We just got to make them last for 150, 140 laps, something like that. And then like you said, we just rode. We just rode as long as we could.
Yep.
And whenever I had to battle somebody, I tried to battle them real quick. And I was like, if I wasn't able to hold on to that position, I just have to let them go, because it's not worth using up your tires in the span of 5-6 laps battling side by side with somebody. So yeah, so as soon as we got to about maybe 10th, or I believe it was mid-pack of the field, I got into where me and somebody else got tangled up in the right front and got a little bit of damage. So we pulled in. We had to fix that right front fender, which was rubbing on the right front a little bit. So as soon as we got that fixed, we went back out, put fuel on it. So we were good on fuel. Then after that, starting from the rear, kind of just trying to pick off position one by one. That was so I wasn't just riding there, and that way so I was in a good position. And I know I saved tires. A lot of other people were just running it really hard in the beginning, so saving tires at the beginning was the way to go. It just made it a lot easier to pick off people in the back and making our way back up to front of the pack. I think we went green for about 15 laps, I want to say. Felt like the longest run of the race. That's pretty unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And we got to about lap 150, something around there. Then that's when we decided, me, Carson Brown, and a bunch of other people decided to pit and put some tires on it. And that seemed to be the right call. Carson Brown and Toles battling up there for a little bit, Gavin Graham up in the mix. Kind of just my mentality there as soon as I got tires was, I'm going to let these guys battle it out. I know there's going to be cautions. I know we're going to get bunched up. I know I'm going to have more chances.
Yep.
And it prevailed, so it worked out. I was in third place when Carson Brown and Christopher Toles got together going in 3 and drove right on by and just rode.
I love it.
So, Seth, what's on tap for the rest of the year? Obviously, this is a huge win for you, building a lot of momentum at the beginning of the year. What's on tap? You're going to try to run maybe a super race here and there? You're going to run a lot of the companion races, maybe at Pensacola?
So the next race is at Pensacola, April 7th. We are going to plan to run as many pro races as we can, super races if I am able to. That's just going to be an extra thing if that happens.
Yeah.
We're still not sure on the details about that yet. But yeah, we're going to try to run as many races as we're able to.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's the perfect racer answer. Yeah.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
Get it. Lastly, Seth, how cool when you get down to the end of this race? I mean, a lot of veterans in there, but you end up racing a bunch of your friends. I mean, a bunch of young dudes. I mean, the future of our sport is so bright, and you guys in the Alabama 200. That's got to be pretty cool right there, racing a bunch of guys that you've been racing against for a little bit.
Oh yeah, just to be able to race with Christopher Tullis, Augie Grill, a bunch of other big names in there. It's just a dream come true itself. Being able to watch those guys on Racing America years ago, and then hey, you're running right behind them halfway through the Alabama 200. I'd say that's pretty cool. It's also cool to race with people like Carson Brown, who's very talented, very talented driver. All the other young people in the field. It's just an honor itself just to be in that field and to win it. It's just even better.
Yeah, no doubt. And way to go, my man. You got that bear, and well done. Continued best luck the rest of the year, and just keep doing it, man. Proud of you, man. Good stuff.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet. There you go. Seth Christensen, 15 years old.
That make you feel old? Just a tick, right?
To win the hunt for the bear at 15 years old, man, how great is that? I mean, good for him. And it really was. I mean, he just,
I was going to ask him where he put the bear.
Well, it was in bed with him.
Yeah, it was. I wonder if he put it on his nightstand, or if they put it in the living room, put it in the shop. I should have asked him where they were going to put
that thing. I don't know where he's going to put that thing, but it really was. I mean, that's the future of our sport right there. I mean, these guys, they get out there, and I thought that was the most impressive thing about that whole race for him is that he won that race. He let everything happen. Everything happened. You saw the highlights right there from Racing America. He let them kill each other, and boom, there he is.
Yeah, when the top two get together and you're running third, that opens up a whole realm of possibilities that it's your job to take advantage of, and he did. Not that he didn't, luck into winning that thing. He was running up front all night long, even after that fender damage, working his way up through the field. Like, he didn't just luck into it. He was at the right spot at the right time because he was competitive all night long.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Big winner right there. Seth Christensen, he's got the bear. He's got the bear at the age of 15 years old. Coming up this weekend, you've got obviously HMP 105 with the sprint cars, the Lone Star Stock Car Tour that is going crazy right now. Devil's Bowl the next couple of nights, and then heading to Heart of Texas Speedway, and then the Heart of Texas Speedway opener on Friday night. Everything really starting to take its place as we roll in here. I do want to give a big old ring of the bell. My man Joe Armandia, I had him on Dirty Air last Thursday. Ninth place finish here. Cody Stickler wins that race over Augie Grill and Jackson Bishop. But Joe never slips. Joe never slips. I mean, he is just so good at what he does.
He's not a spring chicken anymore either. I mean, he didn't forget how to drive. I mean, he's young at heart, but that's impressive for the first time in a car in a long time to get a top 10.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, I was talking to him on the Racing America show. It's like, dude, you only show up for the big races. You go to the World Series, you go to the hunt for the bear. I mean, Joe, I love it when he jumps into one of these modifieds, because he still does. He shoes that thing, and he's planning on a big year in the sport mod. So I'm going to tell you, Texas racers, be ready, because Joe's going to jump in that sport mod. And he's going to kick your ass, because he's really good. That's just what Joe does.
That's just what he does, and he'll be there. Just give him time. He wasn't always the biggest dirt fan, but he's adjusted to it well.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget, guys, you can still sign up for the Revved Up Sports Show Fantasy League. I mean, jump on there. I mean, you're, 3 races in? My ass is way behind. Way behind.
I got trampled yesterday.
Dude, I am in all kinds of trouble. I had Joey Lagana over there running really well. And
I was running third at one point. You were running second, and then I think I ended up like 18th out of 25 or something like that.
And I'll tell you, the best part of that league is I don't know who the hell half of these people are that have
that are just whooping our ass. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Sign up and win that. I mean, because we still might have some awards. I mean, never say never.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, keep signing up. Keep signing up. But really good stuff right there. This has been a great program, and I do want to go back to with Shane Hebert, on the late model side, winning that championship. I think that those late models are about to take off, and Owen continuing to do. Owen is really invested into that late model thing, and I think that I can't wait to see them at Cotton Bowl. That is going to be really good.
That's going to be a hell of a show when they get to Cotton Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Torres. What do you say about this dude? I mean, he's won a lot of races, but this to see Johnny on the track with you, that was Johnny. That was a dude that like won his first feature ever.
Mm-hmm.
He was that freaking excited.
And he was excited, yet he was still trying to be the humble guy that he is, right? And at that point, when you just won that big one and beat the guys that he beat, I'd have been a little more upbeat. Hell, I was almost starstruck standing next to him after he won that big one.
Good stuff right there. And Seth Christensen, the dude goes to Waffle House and takes his bear in there. I mean, that's a big deal for him. And how about that, Bobby? Winning that race, the Alabama 200, the 59th annual Alabama 200, at the age of 15.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Pro late model, man. That is so cool, so cool. Coming up this weekend, obviously Houston 105. You got all of that coming, and then and then we really get going. I mean, the Rattlers coming up, and then over at Mobile with us, you've got the Davidson Electric 125 for the super late models. And I do want to touch on this weekend at Five Flags. That Sunshine State 200.
Is that this weekend?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's right. The biggest debut. Most anticipated debut of a racing series in a long, long time.
Dude, that is going to be huge. That, with the entry list that I've seen, with that and the whole thing with the ASA coming back in, obviously, Racing America and everything that they're doing with that right there is going to be big. That is huge. I hope the weather cooperates. I haven't looked at the weather.
Yeah, hopefully.
But, man, that's going to be good.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a fun one to see. All
especially with the broadcast team. That's what makes it going to make that so cool.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Old school, yet just coolness.
Dude, that right there, that is so much about what can, especially now with streaming, what can make or break for the folks that can't go there. I mean, the folks that will be at the racetrack, they're going to hear Robbie Harvey and they'll hear, Bill. They'll hear them, but the folks on Racing America and wherever all it's going, they're going to hear Jim Trado.
Yep, and Ralph Shaheen.
I mean, come on.
Doesn't get
any better than that. I mean, those guys calling races. I mean, that's a good race caller. I'm telling you, friends, a good race caller makes a broadcast great.
So, curiosity question for you. Speaking future, let's go future, right? Put your future hat on. The one thing that ASA had going for it for super late models, if you will, is their car was unique, right?
Yeah. The
cars now are not unique. They just look like super late models. They just have a fancy name on them.
They all look alike.
Do you foresee 5-star making a specific ASA body again?
I don't think so. I mean, it's so much a part right now to where you have to be able to have anyone that wants to race, whether it be an SRL, ASA, I mean, whatever you want,
Midwest Tour,
all of them. You have to have it to where they can all conform to the rules, and that's the tricky part, and that's what ASA and All Pro back in the day. By the way, All Pro. Damn it, where'd I put it? I got some mail today or over the weekend. My dad sent me. He found the 84 program from All Pro at San Antonio. And it had, I mean, everything, the full entry
Jody
list.
Ridley on the cover in that old T-Bird?
Jody Ridley, yeah. Had the full entry list here from Skoll Racing, which you can't do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore.
Can't do that more. On the outside of the front row, out of Houston, Texas, wrong city, Greg Davidson. How about that?
He's always been out of Pearland.
Pearland, yeah.
Well, I guess now he's out of Friendswood, technically.
Yeah. But
that's the guy we need to get back on here. I love having Greg on the show.
We got to get him back on. But, I mean, the thing is, you got to make him to where it conforms to everything. Look at that. Heartbeat of America.
Oh, an old CK body?
GM.
Ooh, look at that.
Tell you what else Dad sent me. I showed you this a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
In the mail, the original 1998 rule package from Thunderhill Raceway from Brian Calloway. The old rules. I mean, this is where everything started at CTS or whatever you want to call it. A fax from them on how we're going to open up and everything. And there's that rules package right there. Back when it was simple.
I say that's a simple set of rules right there.
Back on paper. And that's really cool stuff right there. Yeah. Well. Look
at you getting all nostalgic again.
I'm that old, my man.
Hey, I was there for the first race at Thunderhill. I've been there for a couple of last races at Longhorn, too.
Yeah, well, that's a bad thing.
That's why you got the beer signs in the garage at the house, because I've been to a couple of last races at Longhorn a couple of times.
We've seen a lot of tracks close. That's a bad thing.
I've seen the same track close like 3 times.
That's right. And speaking of that, not closing, but opening, go to Houston this weekend. Go out there and check out the racing program. I think they planning to do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. We'll check in with the winners and stuff probably next week, depending on who wins and how much they want to join our program, which they more than likely will. But
they should.
But yeah, look forward. Go out and support your local racetrack. Asphalt, dirt, doesn't matter. Just go out and support your local racetrack, because you never know when they're going to go away.
Yep. And if you can't get there, Race on Texas, raceontexas.com, all access. Check it out. Everything right there for you in the state of Texas. All right, time to get out of here. Bobby, great show, my man.
Always. Great booking this week.
Yeah, we're all over it. You guys, hope to talk to you next Monday. It is #RealRaceTalk. #Monday Show Day. The Revved Up Sports Show. You guys be good.